I don't believe in you.
I believe in you.
Hey, what's up, everyone? This is the Sullivan Project podcast, and I'm here with Chris. What's up, Chris?
What's up?
You can go ahead and say your name if you want.
Hello again, everybody. This is Chris Sterner.
Yeah, we're going to do a Nightmare on Elm Street Part 4 review, The Dream Master. This is going to be a HorrorIcons second horror movie review. So go check out the other one we did Friday the 13th from 1980. Hey, Google, what time is it?
It's 6:12 p.m.
6:12, okay. Uh, so yeah,
6:10 right now.
6:10, okay. So we do. All right. So yeah, if you want to check out that other review, go to Harold Sullivan 78 on TikTok, Harold Sullivan 78 on YouTube, Harold Sullivan period 35 on Facebook. And if you want to leave comments or say anything, if you want to be on here, we do audio or video podcast. Uh, and yeah, if you want to be a part of the show, we appreciate likes, shares, all that. We're moving up, getting some more friends and friend requests. So let's do this. Everyone has a story, right? You can't judge a book by its cover. And on here, you can just come and talk about different stuff. We're gonna do a review of a movie today, though. So, oh, let me tell you what I was talking about earlier, real quick, and then we'll get into it. So yeah, I'm lucky. I'm actually getting hot right now, but I'm lucky tonight to be here again. Thank God. I've been blind over 2 years, and I was born with an autoimmune disease, and I quit breathing last night again or something. I have sleep apnea. I don't know. It was scary though because this hasn't happened for a few years like this. But I was laying there. It's probably 3 o'clock in the morning, and I just got very dizzy, like so dizzy and stuff spinning that I had to sit. I have a bed with a remote, like a hospital bed, so I can kind of tilt it up if I get anxious or whatever. Because it's not good to lay flat when you're panicking. Don't lay on your back either. And I had to call my brother-in-law actually on the phone at 3 in the morning because I almost thought I needed to sit up because I was so dizzy. I thought I was gonna die, or I was just very disoriented. But after a couple minutes, I was okay, and I don't think I slept after that. But thank God I'm here still. I still got something to do, right? And I wanted to mention that. Oh, and I wanted to mention one more thing, and then we're gonna get into the review. I just heard, I don't know if you heard, Texas Chainsaw Massacre is coming out with a video game now. Have you heard anything on that?
No, I didn't hear nothing on that.
Because AEW Wrestling, I guess they're going to be a sponsor. And so upcoming at one of these episodes on TV, I think Leatherface. I don't know who's going to play Leatherface. So maybe anybody can write in, or maybe you can find out from your one friend that gets online who gets some horror scoops for us. Well, he gets them, but he relays them. Yeah, whenever he gets them, you relay them to us, right? We all relay them, but yeah, if anybody knows, yeah, I just heard on AEW Wrestling, that's All Elite Wrestling, that they're going to sponsor a new Texas, for the first time, Texas Chainsaw Massacre is having a video game, and it's coming out soon. That's all I know. And especially, supposedly, somebody dressed like Leatherface is going to show up at one of the wrestling events. It's going to be on TV, I guess. So I'm curious just to know what he looks like and what kind of Leatherface they're going for. Who it might be if it's one of the guys who played him before. So I wanted to mention that. And then, so my reviews, I'm going to change my review scale a little bit. I was going to do it based on each franchise, but I'm just going to do five, like 5 out of 5 would be a perfect movie period instead of trying to do each franchise. Okay, so last time we did Friday the 13th, I gave it, 3.5 out of 5? And you gave it a 3, right? Friday the 13th, the first one? So that was your
Yeah.
review. So we got 3 and a 3.5 for Friday the 13th, 1980. All right, so now let's get into the Dream Warriors, A Nightmare on Elm Street, Part 4. And what year was that? Was that 80? Oh man, I want to try to
88, wasn't it?
88. Yep. See, you got me. We was right there. Yeah, because they did one every year. I mean, I was just Friday the 13th. Did you know they did 8 in the first 9 years?
Yeah, Friday the 13th Part 8 come out in
In
1989.
80, yeah. So from 80 to 89, they did eight movies. That's ridiculous. They were doing one, bam, bam, bam. So
Every year they did one.
same with Elm Street pretty much, right? 84 was one, the first one. 85, 86, 80, well, there was a little bit of time in there. So 88. So we got Elm Street, Dream Warriors. And so this picks up with who is left. We got Kirsten and we got Kincaid and we got Joey, the last three Elm Street children, right? Is that's how it picks up? And
Yeah.
they're the last three. They supposedly they beat Freddy, right? He's done. You know, at the end of Dream Warriors, Freddy's done. Nancy's done. Kirsten's left. Now it's a different actress, so it's not what's her name anymore. Oh man, what's her name? Arquette, Patricia Arquette, which she made the role in part three. I mean, with that singing that song, one, two. Remember when she was like singing it, all crying and stuff. That always got me. But back to part four, yeah. So Freddy's gone, and I guess, and this and that, but Kirsten is her name. She keeps dreaming about Freddy, right, bringing him back up, or whatever. And then who's the first one to dream about him? Kincaid, right? Oh no, they
Yeah,
go.
Kincaid.
Well, they go.
Kincaid wakes up in the junkyard.
Yeah, but they go in the boiler room first, right? And then, because she brings them in, because she has the ability to bring people in her dreams, which some people do, if you believe in that stuff, and I do. But she has the ability, so she brings them two in the dream, and Freddy's not there. It's the empty boiler room. But they say, Joey says, when you keep bringing us in, maybe you're going to start him back up. And that's what happens. So Kincaid falls asleep, and then remember I told you, what's the Kincaid's dog's name? Jason. It's pretty cool. So you have Kincaid's dog's name is Jason, right? And then in Friday the 13th, Part 6, Jason Lives, the little girl's name is Nancy. And he says, you just had a bad dream, the counselor said. And the girl's name was Nancy. So it was a little homage. So, but Kincaid goes in the junkyard. I like that whole scene, though. With the junkyard, the cards going after Freddy. And then the bones, the dog peeing. I don't know, was he peeing or pooping on the fireball?
In the fireball.
Yeah, was it pee or poop? Was he peeing it out, or I never got there. Was it a poop fireball or a pee fireball? I guess
Pee fireball.
it was pee because you wouldn't lift your leg to poop, right? But he pees out the fireball, and then all Freddy's bones start to go together, which is actually a scene out of the Bible. There's a scene where God brings somebody back to life, and it's just like that. The bones go together, and the flesh goes on the bones. So Freddy gets up out of the dirt, right, and puts his hat on, and what's he say?
You shouldn't have buried me. I'm not dead.
I'm not dead. That was so sick, wasn't it? See, you know all the lines. And that was the only one of the original Elm Streets that I saw in the theater because I was too young. So part four I got to see. And so Kincaid's done, right? He says, I'll see you in hell, right? And he says, tell him Freddy sent you. And then so the dog gets, the dog is in the bed. He knows if Kincaid's dead. Kincaid's has a heart attack, right? And then Joey gets killed in the bed, right? Which there's a sexy girl in his waterbed. And I had a waterbed like in the 90s, and I was actually scared of it. And I thought that a girl was going to come up out of the bed to get me. Because somebody could fit in there. I mean, not for real, but. So the girl, gets in the waterbed and, oh, how's this for a wet dream? And she brings it. But how come Joey can talk, but he couldn't talk in part three? Is it just because he overcame his fear? Like, why was he not speaking in part three? I don't understand that one. So he gets done in, right? And then Kirsten goes to school and sees their two empty chairs, and so she knows they're done. She freaks out, right? And then she goes home, and isn't she killed next? Like she's lit on fire? Like she falls asleep smoking? Is that what happens?
Yeah.
There's so much going on. She falls asleep smoking, which is cheesy. Like, and then Rick is her boyfriend. Is he the next guy that gets killed? Rick? He knows, he knows martial arts. That guy, Rick. So, oh wait, first, before Kirsten gets killed, she accidentally, on purpose, brings Alice into her dream, right? Because she gets scared, and she's the last one. If she don't do that, Freddy can't kill anymore, supposedly. But then they changed the rules, and it was like, okay, if you're afraid of him and you know about him, then he can get you. Before that, you had to be an Elm Street relative. So anyway, she gives her powers to Alice and brings Alice in the dream uh, by accident, gives her the power, and then Freddy just throws Kirsten into a fire and kills her. But in real life, she falls asleep smoking and dies in a fire. So now Alice knows about Freddy and can carry Kirsten's powers on. All right, and then so Dan, who is Alice's boyfriend later, becomes Alice's boyfriend, and Rick, Alice's or Kirsten's brother, know about Freddy as well because they're all hang out together. And they even visit that house outside, and Kirsten talks about it all spooky. You know, he's in there waiting for me to go to sleep, right? I
Yeah.
mean, come on, this is the if you're trying to control a plague, this is the worst idea ever, you know. But so anyway, so what happens next? Rick is brought in to fight. Rick tries to fight Freddy with karate, right? But there's no Freddy in the scene, just his glove. And you know why? It's because they ran out of money or something. They didn't have any set, so nothing wrote for that scene. So they just said, okay, well, let's throw up some curtains and have him fight Freddy and invisible. I mean, that's so cheesy. So Freddy gets Rick and he's done, right? And it's Dan and Alice is left, right? And what happens? Does Alice go in the diner? When does Alice go in the diner? Is it before the movie theater or after the movie theater? Do you remember?
Alice didn't die.
Oh no, but when does she go in the movie theater? Oh, I forgot about the girl too. Jesus, there's
Yeah,
some.
she goes in the movie theater. Yeah.
Well, what happens next? Is it the Roach girl or is it the
It's the Roach girl.
suck face girl? The Roach girl next.
Yeah.
Okay, Alice don't go in the thing yet. So the Roach girl's working out to what's her name? What the heck is her Yvonne? No, Yvonne is the black girl, right? What's
Trying
the
to think.
what's the Roach girl's name? I can't remember her name. But she's a white girl with long brown hair.
Debbie.
Debbie,
Yeah.
yeah, she likes to work out all the time. Anyway, it's one of the grossest scenes in any of the movies. Freddy breaks her arms off and turns her into a cockroach, and her head falls off and is sick. And then she's inside a Roach motel, and he's holding it in his hand, and what's he say? You can check in, but you can't check out. And he squeezes it, and all this like goop just squirts out. So then she's dead. Now, when does Alice go into the pizza place? Is that next? Or the movie theater? No, the pizza place is next.
Yeah, I like the pizza place. Yeah.
Or is Yvonne killed next? Which one? Who's killed? What scene is next? Yvonne getting killed or the pizza place? Or the theater? The theater's after everything. So Yvonne gets killed. I don't know. She's in school. But she gets killed because Freddy becomes the teacher and then goes over and literally just kisses her and sucks her soul out of her. And
Yeah.
Alice has to watch while they're in school because
That's the black girl. Yeah.
yeah, Yvonne, yeah, her Alice can't get out of her seat because it closes around her, so she's done in, and then Alice goes in the pizza place, right? And it's one of the more grossest scenes again. Like I said, she's eating the pizza, or there's a pizza there. Freddy's eating it. He sees it, and who's the waitress behind the counter? You remember?
Alice.
In the diner, yep. And isn't it the Crave Inn? It's called
Yeah. Crave in.
after Wes Craven, right? So it's a diner.
Yeah.
So it's a diner. So she falls asleep and goes in the diner, and it's herself like 30 years later in the diner. That's what she looks like now, though, right? Oh, you didn't
Yeah.
see. That's what she looks like now, though. You didn't see the video, and I didn't see it because I'm blind, like I said. But she did a cameo. Y'all can go check it out. What's her name again? Lisa Wilcox on. Go check it out on the YouTube we got a little whiles back. But yeah, she looks like that now. She's like 40 something or whatever, 50 years old. So, but yeah, so she's a waitress behind the counter. I guess she's afraid of being stuck there, living there her whole life. So that's why it's her back there. And Freddy sits down and he's eating the pizza, and then there's meatballs, which I never heard of meatballs on the pizza, right? But
Says Rick, you little meatball.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then they got faces, and it's the souls of the people that her friends that he's killing. And so he sticks. What's he say? That's a
Says Rick, you little meatball, and then he eats it. Yeah.
Yeah, he sticks it in one of the heads and eats it. I think it's hurt Rick or something. It's disgusting, but and then later on, her and Dan are riding around trying to get to somebody. Who are they trying to get to? They're trying to save somebody. Where are they riding around and going over and over again, and it keeps happening? or was that on the way to get the fire? Oh, that was on the way to save. They were trying to go to save Kristen, right? Kirsten. Uh, she went and got Dan Alice because she saw what had happened, and they got in the truck, and that's where they kept going around in a circle, right? Is that what happened? Because Freddy was
Yeah, because
right.
Alice says he's going after Debbie. I gotta stop him.
Oh, Debbie. It was Debbie. He saw. She
Yeah, and
saw
then
something. Okay.
Dan's is like, I get the weirdest feeling. We've done this before.
Yeah, and whenever I first saw that in the theaters, I was like, "This is weird." I didn't pick it up right away. I thought it was a glitch, but here it's Freddy's trying to keep them, so he just rewinding, like, which is weird because that just if you have that happen in your dream, it's scary, and that kind of can't happen where you replay your dream over and over. But yeah, that was on the way to get Debbie, yeah, because she just knew something was going to happen or she saw it or. But okay, and then so later on, Alice falls asleep again, right? And then but Dan's still alive. And then she goes to the movie theater, and then she sits in the movie theater, and then everybody is in there that's people that she's killed or that's killed in the movie, and then she gets sucked into the movie screen, right? And then what happened after that? I forget. She gets sucked into the movie, right? And then
Yeah.
she just went back at the house again. I can't remember. Or she in that church or something. What happens after that when she gets sucked in the movie theater screen? Do you remember, Chris?
She ends up in the pizza shop.
Oh, that's when she ends up in the pizza shop. Okay. And then what
Yeah.
after that? I forgot. And then after the pizza shop, she gets out, or she wakes up, and that's when they go to try to find Debbie,
Yeah.
and she's dead.
Because
Okay.
they keep running back and forth. They got in circles.
And then she starts training, right, and doing karate like her brother, and and stuff, taking parts of her friends like on kind of. And then she goes into what happens? How does she go to sleep? Does she take some medicine or something, or what happens? How does she go
I'm
to
trying
sleep?
to remember.
Or was they in a car accident?
Yeah.
Or
She
that
hits a tree.
she hits a tree, right? Okay, but where was she going now? I don't even remember where she was going and she hit the tree. It's been so long, but I mean, we're trying to do a whole movie here.
She sees Freddy. She tries to hit Freddy.
Okay, so she's driving, and she's I forget where they're going, but and then she hits a tree, and then Dan's in the hospital in intensive care, so she goes and starts to train. That's right. Okay, so she goes and starts to train back at the place while Dan's in the hospital dying, right? And then she goes back. What happens? She takes some medicine or something to go into the dream. What happens?
Yeah, she said, don't let them put you to sleep. We have to get ready for them.
But how does she go in the dream? She knocks herself out.
Yeah, she takes pills.
Okay, that's right. And then she goes in, and then Dan wakes up. They save Dan, and she's in there alone, right? And they're in the church or something, right?
Yeah, he says, Freddy said, well, it ain't Dr. Seuss.
Yeah. Welcome to Wonderland, Alice. Right? That's where that happens. Oh no, that happens earlier in the boiler room. Hey Google, what time is it? We're all over, but we got it.
It's 6:29 p.m.
Oh, okay, we got plenty of time. We're getting it done quick here. But so we got wait for okay, yeah. So how does she fight Freddy? She don't really fight him. Oh, she starts to say that poem, right? The Dream Master. Allow and lay me down to sleep. I pray the Lord my soul to keep. If I should die before I wake, I pray the Lord my soul to take. Right?
Yeah, think so.
Something like that. And then there's the Dream Master. I don't know. Or there was they edited a little. They changed it a little bit. But then she kind of tried to fight him a little bit. She couldn't really do that. But she wasn't afraid. And then she pulled the mirror down, or a piece of mirror fell off, right? When they were fighting. And she said, "Evil shall see itself, and it shall die." And which is just an accident that she did this. And she shows Freddy his reflection, and when he sees himself, then that supposedly sets all these souls free that he's been killing now, the new souls he has.
Yeah, she sets the souls all free.
And then so this is one of the nastiest scenes too, but it's very cool. At the very end, when they start reaching out of him and ripping him apart, and the little arms come out, and you even see
Yeah,
you even see breasts, a pair of breasts, right? Because you see, they're like trying to get out of Freddy, so there's a woman pressed against him inside, and her head and her breast, like she's trying to get out of him. It's very graphic, and Freddy's screaming and they're ripping him apart. And you know how they did that? They actually had like a giant 10 foot high Freddy, or 20, like real stomach, like just a stomach, and they had people in there just for that part, just pressing through like adult sized people. And when they edited it together, it just blended perfectly. But they did so much special effects and stuff on that movie there, and just gore, and it was just so it was different. You know what I mean? And Freddy was kind of funny, but he was still scary in that one. Just very very demented, and they actually Rennie Harlin is the director. He was a French guy, right? And he
Yeah,
actually
Rennie Harlin was the director.
yeah, he directed Die Hard 2, and that's how he got the job. And they actually said he had no clothes and he was smelly, and they gave him a job because he wouldn't leave the office. He kept coming in saying, "I want to direct a movie. I need a job. I come to America." But Die Hard 2 is one of my favorite movies too. I like all Die Hard movies, but so to think the same director did Die Hard 2 and Elm Street 4 Dream Master, that's crazy, isn't it? So, what other kind of tidbits do we got going on in that movie as far as facts? Who else? That's pretty much it. But the gore, right? What else stood out in that movie to you? Oh, and I like the house, of course, now. But why don't they tear that house down? Why is it still there? The Elm Street house. And
Yeah,
then in part 6, it's brand new, right? Or no,
I
it's
think so.
well, it's torn down in part. It's part 6. It's not as ragged, but it's still raggedy. It's like I don't know. Somebody renovated it. It didn't make sense to me. In part 1, it was brand. It was nothing wrong with the house. And Nancy, in part 2, the house was okay. And in part 3, look where it's at in part 3. And then part 4, I don't understand. I want to, and then get rid of it. Like in one of my, well, they never get rid of it because there's a reason. There's probably a reason too. But in one of my scripts I wrote years ago, a fan script I wrote called Freddy X, the Dream Demon. Right? It was like the 10th one, supposed to be. But I had the whole Elm Street demolished except for the one house, because I thought it would be creepy if in Springwood, if every street on Elm Street was gone except for Freddy's one, that's just Freddy's house, because nobody would even go near it to tear it down. You know. But yeah. So let's see here. So then we're left right at the end, and do we have a cliffhanger? Isn't she pregnant? She has a baby at the end, right?
Yeah, part 5 she does, yeah.
No, at the end of part 4, she has a baby, right? Yeah, her and Dan sit, and she has a baby at the end of part 4, and she's looking into like a water fountain,
And
right?
then sees his reflection.
And she thinks she sees Freddy's reflection, and that's where you end in part 4. Of course, you got to have that little, like Savini making Jason jump out of the water in part 1, right? Okay, so that's how we go. So yeah, we didn't miss much, right? We went through the whole thing pretty good there. So I was thinking earlier, and if I put this my favorite, probably one of my favorites, if not my favorite Elm Street one, even though it's just different and wacky though. I'd probably give it a 4 out of 5. So that's actually higher than Friday the 13th Part 1 in that series. But so if it was the best Elm Street one, I'd probably give it like a 4. So I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5, 4.0. Elm Street 4, The Dream Master. So what would you think he would do for that out of 5 stars? And you could go by whatever rating you want, whether it's all movies or just that franchise, whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah. So what number do you think?
4 stars.
You give it a 4 out of 5 as well.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. So you like it actually better than you like Friday the 13th, the first one?
Well, I like the first Friday the 13th, yeah.
But I mean, you give Dream Master a higher rating than that one,
Uh,
or are you just going by the series?
go by the series.
Okay. So for yours, you're gonna go by the series. Like out of Friday the 13th, all the movies you'd
Friday
give,
the 13th to give it like maybe 3 stars.
you gave it for 3 out of 5, and that would be just only in that, not all movies all time. Okay, because I'm doing mine a little different, and then so you're gonna do for for Elm Street 4, just only in the Elm Street movies, right? You're going to give it 4 out of 5 if it was a perfect Elm Street. Okay. All right, so that's good. I mean, because that's the best way to do that. And for me, it was hard to sit there and try to think of if I rate a whole franchise, how would I do each one? So, and I don't really have any perfect movies. So for a movie to me would probably be 4 or 4.5 would be the best I'd give any movie ever. So, but I'm doing this as far as actually, you know what? Maybe I should do mine a little bit better. I'm gonna change it around. Yeah, you're right. Here, let's do it that way. You're better. You're doing it better. I'll do it a 3.5. So we're gonna do the first two movies 3.5, and I'm gonna do it just like you're doing it, just by the franchise, because yeah, I'll be confusing. I don't want to give it a 4. That, you know what I mean? I might put it above other movies. That wouldn't make sense. So you're gonna give it a 4 out of for Elm Street franchise, and then you gave Friday the 13th Part 1 a 3.5, and I'm going to do a 3.5 on both. 3.5 on Elm Street Part 4 and 3.5 on Friday the 13th, 1980. That way it's more even. Okay. That sounds better, right? Gives a little bit more even of a scale. Because we do have close tastes, you know, similar ideas, and I don't want it to be too far off. So, all right. Hey, Google, what time is it? We're about to go, though. We got a nice movie
It's
review.
6:37 p.m.
Okay, yeah, so we'll be back again shortly. And love's your choice and so's the hate. Remember, everyone?
Don't judge a book by its cover.
Yeah, everyone has a story. That's what we're on here to talk about. It's not just horror movies. We do sports, we do religion, we do entertainment, just food. I mean, you know, come on and just come on and if you need someone, oh, I forgot the number. If you want to reach us, 724-513-1472. Sometimes someone just needs to talk to someone, and I'm here. And hit us up.
Night, everybody.
All right, man. All bad, right?